Hi, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to our special Thanksgiving Thursday edition of Recovery Live. I'm Tom. I'm from Kingdom Recovery. I'm a recovered alcoholic addict. And we thought we'd come to you today on Thanksgiving Day for a special show. Talk a little bit about what the day means to us and how we deal with it these days now that we're sober and living in the go. It's a beautiful day here in New Jersey. I think it's a little warmer than it normally is. Some down, some years it's been cold. It's 50 degrees. It could be. We could get snow on Thanksgiving, but it's a nice warm day today, and it'll be a great day to go and visit some family and see some nieces and nephews and some people I don't see. Taryn Price, she's with us already. Hi, Taryn, out there in Arizona. It's probably hot there. Tom Clancy, happy Thanksgiving to you. Um, Uh, and really, it's happy Thanksgiving to all of our guests on the West Coast, Central, and East Coast. But it's not happy Thanksgiving to our UK followers. They are not Thanksgiving followers. But welcome anyway to the show if you're on with us. Hi, Melissa. See, there, that was for Melissa. We eat terribly today, Melissa. Or I should say, wonderfully. We eat today. And then we have to go to the gym for 3 days afterwards. Well, I do anyway. Anyway, today we're going to do a shortened version of the show today. We've got a couple of things we'd love to talk about. And our senior volunteer and partner in crime from California, Alicia Martinez, is joining me today.
Hello.
Hi, Alicia. What's the weather there today?
It's probably the same as you. It's about 50, I think. Let me see. But it has been really nice. No rain. 55 and sunny. It's actually going to be 66 later. So, yeah, it's nice. Northern Cali.
Northern California. It's I finally, Alicia.
Taryn's going to be 71 in Arizona.
Wow.
That's
Well,
nice.
good. Yeah. I'm finally feeling a little bit recovered from our trip to the Bronx, which had followed a trip to the UK for me, but it was amazing, right?
Yeah, yeah. You had trips back to back to back to back.
To back to back, right? And I had a day, and today I woke up and said I'm not doing anything, and I got hijacked by the butterscotch Telecaster behind me.
But that's a good hijacked, right?
It's a good hijacked. Yeah, it's really my piece, and the more I can do that, the better I am. It just lets me detach because, we all, I think, we're obsessive a little bit in our world, right? You're not at all, are you?
Yeah, even if it's a healthy addiction, which I don't think that's a thing, but yes.
And being that kind of came to believe recovery doesn't close down. Like we don't have 8 to 5, and I have you out in California I have to deal with in the evenings, and people like you and Don Zonick and our other team. I have my British friends to deal with very early in the morning, and then the weekend is volunteers. So a lot of times I don't feel like I have a whole lot of way of turning this off. There's always something going on, So, but guitar does it. I put on that stuff. And today I was playing along with a Samantha Fish concert on my iPad that I actually went to. It was a concert in Teaneck, New Jersey, and somebody recorded it. She allows people to record it, a kind of a professional recorder, and she lets them post it free. So it was a show I'm at. If some of the scenes when the camera goes, you can see me in it.
Really?
And my friend Eric is in it too. Yeah, we're in the because we were right in front. Anyway, it was a lot of fun.
I see Dale Barker on. I just want to say quickly that we were at a retreat. I don't remember which one, and he was talking about Joe Bonamassa. And I was like, oh, my husband loves Joe Bonamassa. And so Dale, we went last night to see Joe Bonamassa. Not my thing, not my jam at all. But my husband had a wonderful time. It was great.
So I got a text from Alicia this morning. I said, "How's the show?" And we had a pregame of this show, so I knew she was just so thrilled about it. She said she was ready to go in 1/8 of the first song.
It's just I mean, for viewers out there, imagine going to a 2-hour concert of someone that you don't know, you don't really like that genre of music at all. But I went for my husband and he loved it, and I'm fine. I wasn't mad, but it's just not my thing. So I was watching the people, checking out the band members, looking at their clothes, looking at their stuff. I was occupied.
Yeah, I stopped listening as soon as you said you don't like any of it. I don't know. I'm reading Dale's comments.
I should have flown Dale in from Florida, and he could have gone.
You should have. He would have loved that. Yeah.
Actually, I had that in mind. My husband's partner was going to come in town, but then COVID happened, so I went. It's okay.
It's the kind of stuff, right, Dale? It's some are sicker than others, right? He knows. Dale and I share a great affinity for classic rock, especially Led Zeppelin, and he will live
classic rock.
Yeah, kind of, but he's newer. He's blues. I don't know that he's classic rock because he hasn't been around long enough to be classic rock. But somebody in our comment could tell me. Keep going back. I like that. Could tell me. But Dale and I will travel with Led Zeppelin pretty much exclusively. So like when I'm traveling and my music, when I'm walking to the airport, it's, I have every song they've ever done on every album on my phone. So I can listen for just hours. I have stuff, bootlegs and and so does Dale, because I send him some.
I like that. That's different than Joe.
Yeah, you're right. Remember I told you that yesterday. I thought he has a place, but he's not like that. But Dale said he's better than Bulldog. He means pit bull.
Bulldog.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we? We're on a tangent. I think we need to bring it in.
Here's the thing about the tangent, though, Alicia. This is our life today. We're living in the go. You get to go to concerts, right?
That's true.
I have my guitar that I can play, and I have found a way to have peace, and I found a way to work my 10, 11, and 12 and to grow my conscious contact and live today sober. So it's important, right? And I'm really grateful thinking about that today. That's, it's our thankful day. So gratitude about what the day, what it stands for in U.S. history, the Pilgrims with the Indians and all the story of what was and what did and didn't happen. But the bottom line is to have a day of rest and just be thankful for what we have and what we have as a country and what we have individually. And for us, I think, Alicia, and a lot of us on this show, we have a lot to be grateful for, right? Gratitude is a big deal for us who have recovered from things.
Mm-hmm.
It takes on a different element. I was on a radio broadcast yesterday that I've been doing with Randy Oliver, and we were talking about this level of gratitude that we seem to have that normies don't have quite the same level. Not that they don't, it's just a little different, like we might have been dead. I don't know. Maybe that's too much to say.
I agree. I agree with you. And then I think, are we being dramatic? Are we, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. So we're going to talk about three things, guys, and we're going to end a little early today so everybody can get to their families or what they're doing. But we wanted to talk about three things. We wanted to talk about Thanksgiving, how we deal with it today, maybe a few things about how Thanksgivings have been in the past. We want to talk about boundaries, our boundaries and our family, our friends' boundaries, and that we get to have them, and so do they. And then we want to talk a little bit about compassion and empathy. We want to talk about those that are maybe not as fortunate today and we have some recent experiences, being in the Bronx. I'm sure those guys are having a wonderful Thanksgiving, but they're separated from their families. Alicia, you were there.
Yeah.
They're all there, separated from whoever, and
I think some of them had the option though to go, but then they had to be back. I think didn't
they
Father
have
David say
yeah, they
that?
had the option to go, but did they have anywhere to go?
Right. Yeah. And if their family would welcome them back in yet, that's a whole other thing.
So before we go on, I have to comment because Dale is going on the side note here. So Melissa said some of us in Wales are going to celebrate Thanksgiving next year alongside you guys. Maybe you'll be over here, Melissa. Come over and visit
That'd
us.
be nice. We should have a huge Thanksgiving celebration over here.
She just wants to celebrate life. So then Dale says, because he's picking right up on this, next year y'all will have to celebrate Independence Day, right? And so quickly, Melissa will say, "What's Independence Day?"
Well, she won't now because you told her to.
Well, yeah, it was fun when Viv was here and we were talking about the Revolutionary War because of the stuff that's out by me. I'm showing them all the stuff that George Washington did, Dale, and everyone.
Don't get him on a tangent right now.
So, but Viv says, so who was in that war? Who was that war against? They simply, I don't know what it is. I don't care.
That's right, Melissa. Tom, you asked for that.
I did ask for that.
You stepped right into it.
Let's dial it back, and we'll be on here all day. We're having fun today, right? Also, before we start, I wanted to just express my condolences for Sean O'Hare, who's been part of our team and helping me in New York City. His father died yesterday. And so I just wanted to express my condolences to Sean O'Hare. And if you happen to be listening, Sean, we're sorry, and I hope you have peace in your family today on Thanksgiving. And we'll see when you get back, buddy. Also, Jody Thorpe, who's out with her father, who's very, very sick. She's another great partner of Came to Believe behind the scenes to help us to become sustainable. And her father is really sick today. Tough times for people on a day when we want to be thankful. So just our thoughts and prayers go out to Sean and Jody, and then anyone else who's been suffering today. I think about Joss, that we just lost Mick very, very recently, and hope she's having a peaceful day too. But let's talk about Thanksgivings of the past. What's your normal, what would you call your normal Thanksgiving routine? Like not now, Alicia, with your no meat, all the stuff you do now.
You said no meat.
It's or only meat. What would be the normal, like when you grew up, Thanksgiving? What was Thanksgiving like? What was your maiden name?
Dirks.
In the Dirks household.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the Dirks household, but that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Oh boy.
I never met my real dad and all this stuff. But we would go, I had a single mom. I don't remember when I was really little, actually, what we even did. But with a single mom, we would just always go to someone else's house, which was always fun for me. We would always go there and see the things. And then once I was in the drinking phase, I was already old enough. I probably just stopped going and stopped celebrating and I didn't celebrate. My mom would go and then I would just do whatever. Yeah. Part of the addiction and the isolation set in. And then it went to food, and then it was a whole other thing with Thanksgiving.
Do you have family? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Nope.
So Thanksgiving wasn't a big traditional thing in the Dirks household in your life. So that's interesting. I'm sure that a lot of our viewers, people have that. That is a common scenario for Thanksgiving. And I'm the other end of the spectrum. I'm one of 6.
Wow.
So all of us would be home at Thanksgiving pretty much. And my mother would make a big turkey always. And it was apple pie. I mean, it was the very traditional. We looked forward to it. Thanksgiving Day, and it was generally done on Winding Way. Dale Barker calls it Mayberry, which was our family home, the family home that the Williamses had for. So everybody came, and sometimes people came with girlfriends or boyfriends over the years if they had them. But Thanksgiving was a very big traditional Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving at the Williams household my whole life. Now, when I was drinking, right, it got to be tricky because it's one of those days, and you guys that are in the audience know this, you drinkers, is when it's a day when everyone else is allowed to drink a little more, you get away with it a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's drinking, right? Of course, nobody drank like I did in my family. So I had to start hiding it because at the family events, remember, we've talked about this, your family is who calls you on it the most because you see them the most. So I made sure I wanted to hide the open part of this as much as I could. So I always had a flask with me, but I dealt with Thanksgiving, but it was absolutely a drinking day. But it used to add with me going to the bar before and going to the bar after. It had a big drinking party element to it back in the day. So those are my memories of it in my drinking days. Lately, our family is split up all around the country and have families and kids. My brother George has 3 kids, and he lives in South Carolina. My sister Mary's in Chicago, and her 2 kids live around the country. My brother Mike's up in Massachusetts. So, they have the other side to deal with. So typically, Thanksgiving's is like in 2 places. Like my brother George will have it, and a couple people will go there, and my sister Ann, who's right down the road from me, has it, and we all go over there. So over these last 10 or 15 years, Thanksgiving since my mother died, it hasn't been 10 or 15 years, we've gone to my sister Ann's. So that's where I'm going, to my sister Ann's. My sister Beth will come out from New York City, and my nieces and nephews, and we will have traditional, because my sister holds my mother's. We'll have apple pie. I'm sure if she's listening, there better be apple pie, Ann. I'll be at the Fresh Market. Oh, you don't listen, Alicia. This is one of my cheat days, my sugar day.
That's fine.
Oh, she's holding her neck. She's like, yeah.
No, I don't care.
So that's how mine was and is today. And it's all really good. It's a peaceful, wonderful day. There's nobody crazy because I'm not crazy anymore. So, everybody is.
Well, there could be crazies though, if something, right? So, but we just need to have boundaries and stay firm in what we know and what we believe.
So that leads us into part 2 now. So is boundaries on Thanksgiving. So even though it's all good today, there is a level of drinking and partying that goes on that's a higher level than normal. And while I'm not tempted in any way whatsoever, I just don't like to be around drunk people. So I instill, and this is one of our little boundary suggestions for those listening, I go early and I leave early. And you get there before everybody gets rolling, and you get out before everybody gets really rolling.
Right. And I think that's totally individual for the person and for their situation, of course. But like we talked, I think it was yesterday, about boundaries, and what we were going to talk about is that we need to be okay with taking care of ourselves. And especially if we're in the beginnings of our recovery, we might not know exactly how, and we think they're going to be mad at us or whatever. But just know that it's okay for you to leave early. If that's your boundary, or whatever the boundary is, go early, leave early. I love that. Or 2, I think we brought this up on the last one, maybe you don't go at all, which is a scary thought. But if you're really struggling, that's okay. Maybe you go to meetings all day today and call your mom and be all open and honest and tell her, I'm really struggling. I love you. I'm going to go to 5 meetings. And hopefully she would be like really proud of you for that.
But yeah, it's certainly a boundary we have to take into consideration because forget about the drinking, just the triggering of being
Yeah.
around family that pushed our buttons and many times still does push our buttons. And if
Yeah.
you're in that place to not go, and there are also extra meetings that go on, I think, on Thanksgiving. They do those alkathons around here where the meetings go 24 hours. I don't know if they're doing one, but it would be likely that they would on a day like today. But I love what you say about taking care of ourselves. We do learn that. That's something we got to learn because, right, we're all people pleasers and approval seekers, right, Alicia? We don't want to cause trouble, don't confront anybody, don't
Yeah.
want anybody mad at us, right? And we make up all these stories behind our heads that aren't even happening. I figure when I leave, you think, well, they're all talking about me. They're all saying, no, they're not.
They're not. And if they are, whatever.
Right. If they are, we don't hear about it. Those are not so easy places. We're down the spectrum, you and I, of this. But that was not always easy to be able to walk away from because we get ourselves attached to what people think about us. It's somehow that matters. And there's a reality to upsetting your family or those that don't understand, but still, who comes first, Alicia? We do. We have to come first because none of them want us back our old way.
Right. Yeah. So then too, I just thought of like if you're going and your struggle is with alcohol, maybe you bring some sort of non-alcoholic foofy drink. If you feel like you want to walk around with something, bring something.
What do we bring to Thanksgiving? What do you think I'm going to bring?
A bang.
Coffee.
Coffee?
Coffee.
Okay.
It's a great coffee drinking day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. D's on.
What? D's on. We have a defense against the first drink of recovery, right? Spiritual go. Healthy boundaries with the family. But Alicia, maybe you could talk a little bit about this may be a bigger trigger for people with food issues today because I didn't have food issues. I had eating, but the food things today would be tough because it's a bunch of stuff at our house. Like I said, there's apple pie. There might even be cherry and blueberry pie and something else. And there's all the snacks beforehand, all this chip.
It's like the number one binge day of the year.
Really?
For normal people and for food addiction people. Because it's like you said, it's bigger party. It's more food. It's kind of expected for you to binge. And that was a scary spot. Yeah, for a long time. And it's so not now, which is amazing. But I had to learn how to just set boundaries with myself of like, because like you said, you hid the flask. What I would do, I would eat before, go and eat some more, go into the kitchen and eat some more, go out and eat the dinner, have dessert, go in the kitchen, eat some more, and hiding and all of the stuff. So I had to learn how to set those boundaries of I'm going to have one plate of food or I'm going to have dessert and not two or, whatever works. And it doesn't always happen. I mean, I'm only 4 years in right now with the food. But then after it just becomes a habit and then it's not even a thing. Of course, I look at sweets and go, yum, and I can taste it, but I'm not eating it. I don't want it. And I'm not having a pity party of like, oh, I can't have that. I'm choosing not to have it. They can have it all they want. They can drink and eat the stuff. And I'm good with my coffee and water and whatever.
You made a good comment, and I just do the same thing as I ate a lot just a minute ago. I'm eating a lot, so I'm kind of full when I get there. Now, my thing is it's nutritional and gym stuff, why I don't want to eat. Although I won't be crazy, I'll eat pretty much. But what I'll do, Alicia, sometimes is I'll take, let's say, this is just an example, like carrots with me, those mini carrots, and eat those instead of the potato chips.
Yeah.
So you still put them out. and just eat them a little bit. And
Yeah.
those kind of things are ideas that we could give you or somebody could give you of those kind of things.
Just like I said with bringing your own frilly drink or whatever, you can bring a keto dish or bring a veggie dish or bring meat. That's bring whatever, and then it's there. Yeah, that's a great idea. And
So
trying to catch your thoughts of like if you're having a pity party for yourself, like I don't get to eat that. I don't get that. That's the part that you need to be careful of, because those thoughts will lead you right into eating the things that you may not want to eat.
So with all this being said, we're kind of talking, I think, Alicea, around some things that people, maybe beginners or people that haven't been through our program yet, would be experiencing today. But the bottom line is, there's two comments here. One is from D, who taught. I think Lisa had it up there before. But us today now have a defense against the first drink or behavior if we're recovered. So there's our big safety net. We got to hold healthy boundaries, but if we have that defense against the first drink, that's not an issue. And then Dale writes, working 10, 11, and 12 allows him to go places and do things that are in my best interest. And that is one of the greatest statements, because that's living in the go. And you and I do that today. So I will go today and get through this. It's because I do 10, 11, and 12. And I keep my spiritual condition in good shape. I'm able to go anywhere if we have good reason. And Dale says it's in his best interests. We have good reason to go to Thanksgiving. We're strong, recovered people with our ability to set a boundary if we need to. And the defense against the first drink, as Dee said, and we can go and enjoy our families like we couldn't before. And that's also the benefit, maybe repairing some of the damage of the past. And some of it for me is just showing up. I mean, it's kind of been a while, but showing up and just being involved was repairing damage.
Exactly. Like a living amends, right? And concentrating too. This was huge. And I don't know, it just kind of happened of like Thanksgiving dinner, Taco Tuesday, whatever the thing is, where there's alcohol and food. You're going to be with people, and building relationships is the thing. And I never got that before. All I thought of, like, what am I going to drink? What food is there? I'm going to bring my own food. I'm going to eat all the things. How am I going to be able to eat enough? And now it's like the people and shining the light out and being open to conversations, and which I know normal people get, but I didn't get that. I get it now.
You kind of still don't get it.
I don't.
I'm calling her out, guys.
I don't. I still isolate. You guys know. I still I'm out of here.
Recalling the boat trip in Indiana, of which almost sent her over the edge.
Yes. Which shows everybody's still growing. I'm still learning how to have a conversation with someone and being not drunk. It's like, I don't know how to do this. And how to be around people and not want to like go. Even in the homeless shelter, I was doing the stairs, being away from people, just doing the stairs in my own head. Yes, I need a meeting.
And you did come to that, and you did engage.
I did.
So you grew. Brad Almond has a great comment here too. He said, "What can I take to the show versus what can I take from it?"
Yes.
That's interesting. That's another great perspective. Let's bring living in the go to our event and not see what we're taking from it, which is how we used to be. Thanks, Brad. That's a great comment.
He's going to make an amends to his son-in-law today. That's huge.
Right. Awesome. Well, I'm getting some really great comments today. This was a good day to have. So let's talk a little bit about empathy and compassion, Alicea. And I think you and I were like yesterday, like, so what do we mean by empathy and compassion? Like, to who? Well, to all of those that are compassion for those that are still in addiction, and empathy for those in tough situations. I've grown, and I know that Dale has, and I know that Viv has, and I know that Dara has, and you have. For us that were in the Bronx, and for you, Dale and I, we were also in city teams. So we have some empathy and some compassion for those that are in many, many cases in situations that they did not choose to be in fully. They are, and that they're today. I just have compassion to know that I need to be very, very grateful for what I have. I know that it could be gone in a minute if something changed, and that I have something to give, Alicia. I have more to give to these people that are people, and so I just am becoming very aware today, and kind of make a commitment today to redouble my efforts to go out and reach the least, the last, and the lost, so that everyone can in America and Melissa could have a wonderful Thanksgiving every year.
Yeah. It was amazing in city teams and the Bronx, but because the Bronx just happened, to sit a Saturday night at that bonfire with everyone just sharing in it was just like, and I had a lot of stereotypes before that are gone, because a lot of them are not on drugs and they're not drinking and they're homeless. Remember, they are
Right,
dealing with depression and anger, and some were imported from Venezuela maybe, and they
right.
just didn't have anywhere to go. And so that was amazing to see in itself, because I have the stereotype of even being in came to believe of like, well, they're on drugs and alcohol, and many of them aren't, and so many of them had jobs, good jobs. They were
Right,
going to work, coming back. They had discipline, they had rules, they had chores. They were so grateful to us in both San Jose and there. Of like, remember, they kept thanking us. Thank you so much for coming here and spending your time here and bringing recovery to us. And they're so grateful. And yeah, that was a mind blower for me.
and your point, and everyone should hear this, is such a great example, and this was a great example of how the program helps everybody. It's about a family disease. It's as benefit for everybody. Not one person that sat in there didn't think it fit them.
Even the friars and the monks.
Yeah.
They were like, wow.
Right. From the missionaries that were there to Father Ignatius and Father Terry, they completely got something out of it and saw that this had its benefit for all, the way our book sees it. So again, the least and last and the lost, this thing is bigger than we think. We certainly focus on those broken in some sort of addiction and substance use, but I love it when it does that, Alicia, and we get to see it.
Yeah.
So we see that it helps everybody, and it certainly did. It was really amazing. I know that none of us are ever going to be the same after that event in Fort Apache, the Bronx, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, I'm ready to wrap it up. I think we've covered what we wanted to today, Alicia. We talked a little bit about Thanksgiving and some boundaries, and we talked about being empathetic.
Oh, one quick thing. Have compassion for yourself today, of like thinking of boundaries, and say you make mistakes today. We all probably will. Just have compassion for yourself, and then think, okay, the next barbecue or the next thing, what can I do? And pivot and share and get in community and talk to other people about what happened, and know that you're not alone, because we'll all be maybe triggered by something somebody said, or something that somebody's getting really drunk, or there's going to be a lot of things. And it's not only today, it's every day.
Right.
It's every day. So we don't need to be all dramatic about Thanksgiving, because it's going to happen next Tuesday.
Yeah, here's my boundary is when my sister tries to send me home with stuff. I see her with the Tupperware, putting pie
Oh,
in
well,
the
maybe you
Tupperware,
want
and
some of it.
I'm like, I don't want it. No, you got to take this, because she's trying to get it out of the house,
Right.
And
Well, then your boundary can say no
I
or
try,
take
and
it
then
and throw it in the trash can.
it's in my. I hate that though. I mean, I think that's better. Well, my nephew, I got a couple. My nephew and niece are home. A couple of nephews and nieces, and that stuff won't
They'll
last. They
take
may
it.
not allow it. Um,
Yeah, they might want it.
what am I want to put a big before we close out here. Um, Another great comment by Dale Barker, and I'm going to take what Brad Almond did as my closing thing today. Is I'm when we close about taking something to the show instead of taking from the show. And you're right. If step 7 worked, we're not who we are. We're defined by that right side of that list, and we live in freedom today. Everybody, the virtual retreat is coming up. It's January 6th through the 8th. We have quite a few signed up already. We're looking forward to a very successful one, guys. A lot of our leaders, a lot of people that are very active and came to believe in these last couple of years got their start during the pandemic when they came to virtual retreats. We did 15 of them. This will be our 16th. And we have leaders that come. It works. It's got a special element to it because it's a worldwide thing. People from California, from the Midwest, from Florida, from Alaska, from the UK, from Ireland, from Wales, all are on this together. And it makes it the dynamic very, very interesting. So come, enjoy a weekend and get freedom. And then if you're in the UK, a couple weeks later, you can go to Kent. If you're in the US, you can come with us to Missouri. We're going to be down in St. Joseph. Then we'll be in California in February with the retreats in San Jose, and we're going to be back at City Teams, Alicea, boy, next year. Whew.
Got a lot.
Whew.
We had a lot this year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to do my normal thing is I'm going to start and reiterate my do everything. I'm going to be honest, unselfish, pure in my motive, and do everything in love today. At Thanksgiving, I'm going to see what I can bring to the show and not what I can take to the show, take from the show. We're not a glum lot.
No.
So thanks, Alicea, for coming on. I know you got some prep to do. The family's coming over to your house. I'm going to go get myself together. That butterscotch Telecaster may not be quite cooled off yet. Okay. And everybody sincerely have a wonderful, wonderful, peaceful, and safe Thanksgiving. We'll see you guys again next Friday, right here on Recovery Live, back to our normal time, 12 noon Eastern, 9 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock in the UK. And we'll see you then. Have a great Thanksgiving and a great long weekend. Peace.